I'm Christine Yount-Jones with childrensministry.com, and you're watching the childrensministry.com podcast. And this is my friend and coworker, Allie Thompson. Allie, thanks for doing this with me.
Thanks.
You know, Allie and I get the great privilege of working on Buzz, and we wanted to just sit down and chat about, Buzz has been out almost a year now, and so we've learned some things about things that ministers and teachers are saying, hey, this might not be quite so clear, so we want to walk through some of the paradigm shifts of Buzz and help explain why it's that way, okay? So the first thing is change. Allie, talk to me about, we change Buzz, the way that it's executed, little changes that we make from quarter to quarter, so that, why do we do that?
Well, Buzz is all about change, or all about choice and different options. And so what we've done is we've made it kind of like a game. You open the box and everything's there. And at home, you probably have a game shelf. You don't have one game that's the only thing you ever play with your family. You have different options. So that's what we've done with Buzz. We've made it function a little bit differently each quarter so that kids don't know what to expect. There's surprise, and that element of surprise will help them learn.
And it's, when we created Buzz, we talked to people all over the country. We did surveys, we did focus groups, and honestly, in our mind, we were kind of like, we're going to do it one way, and we're going to do it one way over and over and over. And they said, you can't do that because kids are going to be bored. And I always think about something that a pastor taught me when I was in seminary, a pastor at my church. He had the line that said, predictability kills. And anything that's predictable, just because, even if it's fabulous, kids begin to expect, oh, that's what we're going to do next. Didn't we do that last quarter? So we added in the element of it's going to be different from quarter to quarter so that kids don't get bored and don't check out. And so that's why it changes. And all it takes, let's talk to them about the quick start. Help them understand how to understand what each quarter is all about. I'll give you the quick start.
Well, one thing that doesn't change, so you'll always know what to expect, is the steps. There's always, it always starts with Buzz Bond, and then kids talk about their weeks, they connect with each other, they get to know each other. And then there's God sightings, and kids talk about how they saw God at work in their lives this week. And then there's Bible Buzz, and this is the part where the way it functions can be really different, but it's always where kids learn from the Bible and experience it in different ways. And then there's always Buzz in Action comes next, where kids get to figure out how they can apply what they've learned to their lives, and then they pray together. So there's always that consistent framework and structure that you know what to expect, and it'll work differently so kids are surprised, but you'll know what steps you're going to follow.
That's good. Thank you. You know, I think something that's important to say is people who use Buzz are a unique kind of teacher or a unique kind of volunteer. And one of the things that is so unique about them is they really understand kids today. They understand that kids need change, kids need amazing visuals, kids need variety, they need choice. So they're already there with being very learner-centered, about looking for the very best thing for their kids, the most relevant and the most geared to how kids learn best today. And I think that's why they buy into Buzz. But I think for people who struggle with Buzz, might be a little more teacher-centered, you know, because it's like, well, what we've heard, and you know, what we've heard is they'll say it's uncomfortable. I don't like the change. I, as a teacher, don't like the change because I have to relearn the nuance of the lesson structure, and I have to relearn the elements. And so what we would say, just from a Christian education framework, is that it's so critical to stay learner-centered and overcome a little bit of that discomfort and go ahead. Honestly, we will tell you, as you begin to learn the new way of doing it, it's just a little different, but it's going to be a little uncomfortable for some of you. And go ahead and hang in there, because by the end of 3 weeks, you're going to have it down. And the other beautiful thing is, if you forget something, your kids will go, you know, I think we were supposed to be doing God signings right now, and they'll pull out the quick start, just like they do when you play a game at home. But it's a full lesson, it's done in a new way, and continue to be that innovative, amazing Buzz user who understands that you're trying to do what's best for kids, not always what's comfortable for you. Anything else, Allie?
Well, I think we've really designed Buzz with kids and teachers in mind. We've made it choice-based and given kids options and made it engaging for kids. But at the same time, we've made it easy for teachers. It really is no prep like we say it is. I've taught it and I know. And it's easy to just pick up and go. Now, the first week, you're going to want to figure out how everything functions. But once you've got that down, the content of the lessons really just flows and you don't even have to look at it beforehand. So it's worth that little bit of extra time to figure out each quarter's change when you don't have to do any preparation the rest of the quarter.
Yay! So we'll talk about that some more. We're going to do 3 more podcasts in this series of All About Buzz. And so we'll talk about what does it mean that there's no preparation, and is that really possible? And we'll tell you that yes, it is. And we're also going to talk about the whole play aspect. You know, some people can be like, it's a game. It's not a game. It uses the game structure, but it's a complete lesson. We'll talk more about that. And then the last thing we'll talk about in the paradigm shift that you're making to use Buzz is how real learning works. But for now, Allie, we're going to sign off for this one. And thanks so much today for listening to the childrensministry.com podcast. And we appreciate you taking the time to spend with us.